the auto mix inspired Michael Bauer. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes. So that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee. Let's talk a little football.
Welcome, everyone, to the Press Box. I'm so glad you're with us. I'm here with a cast of colorful characters right here with me. Randy Young, Michael Best, the voice of reason, Jim Rayburn.
Yes.
So just keeping us on track here. And let's talk high school football. We're going to talk a lot of college football. Last show of the season, so
hard to believe.
I know. Our all three of our fans are mourning right now, but we appreciate you. We appreciate you. We'll
they're gonna be looking for you, Mr. Chick.
That's right.
I'll just come to your house.
Or Chick-fil-A.
I'll come to your house and talk.
That's right.
Just invite me over and I'll.
All right, you get on Facebook and watch some Sunday school.
Yeah, get on Facebook. You'll see plenty of Michael.
Yep.
You can't get him off your timeline.
And he's tried.
He's tried.
I have tried.
He's got me blocked.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I haven't been able to do that
He
yet.
had figured that out. He tried.
Yeah. All right, well, let's talk just a great win. Hard to put into words. Thomas County Central goes to Rome, and man, what a dramatic last walk-off kickoff.
Yeah.
By Renault.
Well, field
there.
goal, actually.
Yeah, walk-off kick. Sorry, walk-off.
At Brookwood, it's a kick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Here we go again.
I know. As tradition holds, I'm going to mess something up, so I want to go ahead and get that over with.
It's the last
early.
show. We got to have
It's the last
something
show.
in there. Got to.
So let's talk about that big win, 19-16 over Rome. We'll preview Marist in a little bit, but just talk about that game, defensive game.
Well, first off, it was just a great high school football game.
Yeah.
Both teams very evenly matched. We knew going in that they had a big line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball.
This is my favorite part right
Yeah.
here.
That's what
I
ended
like
the game right
Yeah.
there. That was the beginning of the end.
He looked at us and told us to be quiet, and he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
That's Reese Fountain. Now, he's a two-time Region Player of the Year, and he's pretty good.
He's very good. Yeah, very
But here's the
impressive.
next series for them, and Cam Brooks, sophomore, 15 years old,
see
and
a
he
lot of
did
that.
that a couple of times to Reese Fountain through the course of the night. But I give all the credit to Rome. They did a really good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. It was the first time this year that our senior-laden offensive line had a hard time creating any sort of push. And I will say, too, that their defensive front controlled the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether that would happen or not. We had heard they were very, very good. But
both defensive lines controlled the game.
Yeah,
Really.
no doubt. But they controlled the tempo of the game in the first half. Where it started to turn, and this is going to sound strange, but there's Drew Renault with one of his 4 field goals. He did a really nice job through the course of the night. They intercepted the opening drive of the third quarter for us. It's 10-6 at the half, and they run it down to our 11-yard line, and they're ahead 10-6. And of course, that opening drive of the second half is a big deal because you're setting the tone for the entire second half. And I'll be honest with you, I told Jamie Majors and Brian Davis that who were helping me on the radio. I said, guys, this just is not our night. I mean, we just cannot find any sort of consistency or rhythm here. But the defense held them out from scoring a touchdown. It would have been 17-6 at that point, and we've got a mess on our hands. The next series, we get the ball back, and Trey Brenton, on a run, stiff-armed a big defensive lineman for them who fell awkwardly on his right shoulder. And Michael was there, probably remembers this. He had to go out. And it wasn't 2 minutes after that they started having players cramping left and right. Mm-hmm. And the thought went through my mind. Of course, I knew they had some guys going both ways, but this was in the middle of the third quarter. We still had a quarter and a half to go. And I told Jamie, and I said, guys, this may turn into a war of attrition here.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we didn't have those guys going both ways the way they did ended up paying dividends because he fell on that shoulder again later in the third quarter and never came back. And it was about that time that our offensive line established just enough push and consistency to be able to create enough offense for us to score 13 unanswered points and pull away with it. And there at the end, they punt to us about 4 minutes to go in the game, and D. Reddick, who's done a fantastic job this year returning punts for us, misjudged it, just flat misjudged it. When it left his foot, I thought it was going to be a long kick, but I didn't realize, and D didn't realize, it was sideways. It was a knuckleball. So D backed up, and then by the time he ran forward to try to catch it, it fell right off of his hands as he was – well, they have the ball at midfield. And you're thinking, well, here we go. Well, Cam Brooks comes around the side, goes around to tackle, and the quarterback is locked in on a receiver, and he just held on to the ball too long, and Cam separated him from the ball, and Jaden Rubo, junior linebacker, picks it up and runs it to their 38, and we just...
Oh, is that what happened?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Nah, I was listening on the radio, guys, so
Sorry.
It was a great call. It's on you. The clip's on YouTube. Make sure you listen. It's great.
It's something. I'm getting too old for that sort of stuff. We got it right down the field, and we're able to get it down to their 13-yard line as time was running out.
And they let time run out, which was weird.
I still don't understand.
I understand they took 2 timeouts to the house.
They took one. They had 2 timeouts left. They called one to ice him, and then we line up, and I'm thinking, well, surely they're going to call. They never did call it, and I can't explain.
Because y'all were there maybe with a minute left, kind of in easy
well, that was
field goal
the thing,
range.
Jim. It wasn't so much they didn't call it while we were trying to line up for the field goal, but they
Saved
They were
time.
They were running out of time. There was no time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They left. There were some in the bank,
Yeah,
and I can't explain that.
I've never had a coach that does that. Our coaches usually, we're gonna use them. We're not gonna take them even at halftime. We're gonna use them up.
Oh, absolutely.
If we got one left, we could just call a timeout just to be calling it.
Absolutely. I mean, especially though, if you're in a situation where you know they're gonna kick a field goal here or attempt a field goal. If we can save 30 seconds, if we can save 40 seconds, we're gonna get the ball back.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Again, I can't explain that, but I'm glad they didn't. And Drew sunk the kick, and as time expired, we got our first lead of the night.
As time expired. Give me the snapper, holder, kicker again.
Yeah, it's snapper is Owen Petrie. He's one of the Petrie twins. And the holder's Hayden Morales, who's our punter. And then the kicker is Drew Renault. And Drew could have been and maybe should have been justifiably our MVP of the night. But we gave that to our defense because the defense over and over and over and over, and that's the winning kick, kept giving our team a chance. Without that defensive performance, Rome wins that football game.
Yeah.
Just 2 very evenly matched teams. It's a shame that anybody had to lose it. And I want to say this too. One of the classiest things I've ever seen at a high school football game. When the 2 coaches called both teams in front of them after the game was over with, D. Reddick for our team went into the Rome huddle, patted each player from Rome on the head, hugged the quarterback, went to the coach and told him what a great game they had played, that they didn't need to hang their head. And then our players, when we broke, a handful more of them went over there and did the exact same thing. Fantastic show of sportsmanship from our guys. And we get to move on now and face Marist.
All right.
We know a little bit about Marist.
A lot of history between the Jackets and
Have you ever played them at their place?
We have. We played them in 2012 up there when Adam Choice was quarterback.
I was thinking only in the dome.
Yep, we had a home and home 2 years. We played them 2012 up there, 2013 here. And we won both of those. But the games always are tight. And again, normally thrilling finishes, which I don't know that I need after last week, but that's okay.
They're a Marist team is what I understand.
That's it.
They don't do nothing fancy. They just do it.
That's it. And what they do perfect. They are the masters of execution. And Alan Chadwick, who has been coaching since he was born, clearly, is still the head coach. He was the head coach when we played him back in 1996 and 97. And he has a 461-79 record. That is mind-blowing. Typical Marist. Big offensive tackles, one 6'5", 290, the other one 6'7", 310. They have a fullback about 210. It's a bowling ball, little scat back, quarterback 5'9", about 165. They got a lot of guys that go both ways. I mean, they are a recruited team, and let's just be honest. I mean, it's a private school, big money school in Atlanta. So they've got the best players that they can find.
Yeah, that fit for them.
I heard their defensive backfield is real good.
Yes.
I think they've intercepted 10 passes in the playoffs.
Yes. In fact, last week against Roswell, they intercepted 3 passes. The funny thing about that Roswell game, Roswell had 4 players ejected through the course of the game for targeting and had 21 penalties, which is very unusual. Roswell, I mean, it doesn't matter who you are. 21 penalties in a ball game is a lot of penalties. And I'm not saying that Roswell gave them the game, but clearly whatever Marist was doing rattled them. Yeah. And that's our guys are going to have to be patient. They're going to have to play assignment football. I will say, too, that I think us having played St. Pius helps.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of seen that triple option look. St. Pius is kind of Marist light, and Marist beat them 17-0. They played earlier in the season.
Yep.
And
And you guys also have a common opponent with Northside, right? I think they beat. Didn't they beat Northside?
no, I don't think. Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Not by a ton like y'all did, but
Okay.
they did beat Northside.
Okay, I did
so
not
those
know.
are the two, St. Pius and Northside.
Okay, I didn't realize they had played.
One thing that
Oh, that's right. They played them early on in
Yeah,
the,
real
at the beginning of the
early.
playoffs.
Yeah,
That's right. Never
yeah,
mind.
one thing too that really impressed me is your crowd.
Oh my
the noise,
gosh!
the
Thank you for saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
the crowd and all the horns and the whistles and the bells and everything, the cannons, what all they've got.
All
I
that
don't
stuff
know.
matters too.
Can you only imagine what it's going to be like this Friday night with all the milk jugs on one side and all that on the other? It's going to be
Well,
it's going to be crazy.
And we were up in an open air
Yeah,
press box.
I couldn't hear you guys.
We couldn't hear each other. I mean, we're standing beside each other with headsets on. We could not hear each other. We had to look at each other to try to read lips to figure out what was being said between the two of us. Casey Massey, who helps take care of the live stream stuff for us, does live sound production. And he's got an app on his watch that's a decibel meter. It was up over 115 at times. And what was kind of cool, Michael, and I meant to say this earlier. In that third quarter, even though we weren't ahead, it never felt like we were behind. The game felt like we were ahead the whole time. And there's this little thing that they do in the beginning of the fourth quarter where all of our guys jump in. I think Thomas done this for years. They jump into a huddle and do jumping jacks and kind of a thing to get energized. Our crowd was going berserk. And the Rome crowd, you could almost see all their players and coaches and everybody looking at us, almost thinking, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this is a heavyweight fight, and they've still got that much energy. The energy level in that place from our fans was off the scale. And I'm very interested to see what will happen this week because the Georgia High School Association, Marist says their stadium seats 5,000. I don't know if that's true or not. You can't dispute them. You can't go prove otherwise. But the semifinals, they have to split the ticket sales with us. Their visitor side seats 1,500. So there's 1,000 Thomas County folks that have got to find somewhere to sit. So there's a possibility you're going to have Marist and Meggs right there beside each other.
Culture shock.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it, Jim.
Yeah.
And we've let them know that those folks that'll be, if that's what they want to do, that bunch is going to have horns. They're going to have those cowbells. They're going to have the confetti cannons. All of this stuff that's now become part of what goes on.
How do y'all get away with blowing the air horns? Because that's Georgia High School says that's illegal.
It can't be mechanical air horns. These are those Vuvuzuela things, Jim. There's
I don't
hundreds
know what
of
you're
them.
talking about there.
Well,
I'm not
it's
from
the soccer
Venezuela.
horns.
It's like the soccer
Those
horns. I don't know
long
if you see
soccer
from
I don't know
horns.
anything about soccer.
Well, when
They're loud. The big
They're
old.
just loud.
it's like a long trombone kind of thing. And with they're all together, it sounds like a stinking Yellow Jacket nest. I mean, it's that hum, but it's so loud, and it's just in the level, frequency-wise, of your voice. So the players trying to communicate, I mean, they couldn't even talk to each other.
Yeah.
And the ultimate compliment, and then I'll shut up because I know we got other stuff to talk about, were the Rome fans after the game saying, please, y'all come back and play us every year. We don't care if we lose every time. This was fun. This was an electric atmosphere, and we're just not used to seeing a fan base like this. So kudos to the Yellow Jacket Nation. You guys showed out and did a fantastic job, and your energy was a difference in the football game, flat out.
And I see that happen with a lot of South Georgia teams. I've seen it happen with
Yes, sir.
These other two programs represented as well. All that matters.
It does.
Really, especially those emotions matter for high schoolers. You get up to college and pros, maybe not, but in high school, it's a big deal.
Football's an emotional game.
It very,
And
very much is.
If you've got some push from your crowd, those young people feed off that, and this week won't be any different.
All right. Well, I guess Colquitt County had an emotional loss. They got beat by Milton. I was very surprised at the score, 39-37. And guys, I hate to see that for the Packers. And have some great seniors that had great careers and going to move on. And all the best to them and their college careers. I can't wait to see them, flourish in college. But just kind of your thoughts, Michael, on just that loss for the Packers. An upset in my mind for sure. But
Yeah, no doubt, shocking. Just based on what we've heard and what we've seen. Very potent offense, and obviously the defense gave up 39 points, and some talk. coaches have cards or they have rules they go by that they already have written down, so they don't have to do a whole lot of thinking in the heat of the moment about when to go for two and when to kick extra points. And there was some talk about, Cockle went for two a couple times and didn't get it, and you go back and look, and now when it's all said and done, if they'd have kicked their two extra points, been tied. But you can't
Hindsight.
You can't hindsight
yeah,
because
hindsight
in the heat of that, in certain distances of score, it calls that you go for two. And so,
Well, Coggett came right out of the bat and went for two, and it was 8-0.
There must have been something that they saw in the matchup there defensively that they liked.
But you talking about an upset. Well, if you go back and look, Milton and Colquitt every year.
They're
In
up
fact,
there.
Milton's been in the state finals like 2 out of the last 3 years, and here they got a chance again this year. So that was a heavyweight matchup, and somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose. Unfortunately, the Packers came out on the wrong end, but I'm sure Fan with his hamstring injury, he wasn't 100%, but the quarterback. But anyway, great effort by the Packers.
And a great season. Flat out. No way around it.
FSU's got a good tight end coming.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They do. And FSU likes to use their tight ends,
Yeah,
man.
they
They put them everywhere, hand the ball off to them,
Can we use
screens,
him in
all that.
Athens,
So,
Michael?
we need a few
well,
times.
you guys are,
We need a couple.
you guys got a couple of tight ends pretty good.
Well, tip of the cap, though, to Colquitt County.
Yeah.
Region champions. And
They'll be back.
Oh yeah.
very easily, from what I've been told, could have won this football game. I'm not going to say should have, but very easily could have won the football game.
Yeah.
I watched most of it while I was watching Texas, whatever I could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like offensively they had their way, just couldn't get
Milton's
those stops.
quarterback is real good,
Yeah.
and they got a real good wide receiver, so
Athletes.
he gave him fits.
Yeah.
So you didn't go to Rome, just I went.
I looked for him.
Thomas will play in Rome.
Yeah, I looked for him. I didn't
I
see
was
him.
just hoping you'd
I
come.
thought y'all'd ride together.
I tried to get him right with me. I waited on him.
Were you going to put him in the back of the truck?
There we go.
Well, let's,
Two things. I would never go anywhere with Michael Best. And I don't even go to the Jackets Nest unless the dogs are playing.
And
So
I've invited him. I've invited him to come sit with us. I'd make sure nobody even saw him, but he just won't. But
well,
I get it.
we'll get to say our Christmas wishes coming up at the end of the show, so this may come back
I don't know
up
why I
again.
do this.
Best semifinal matchup, you guys. I mean, obviously, Central and Marist is going to be a great one, but any along all the classifications that you're just kind of that you see that you're looking forward to.
I'm not sure. I can't remember who Coffee plays, but that should be a heck of a ball game.
Yeah.
Coffee's got that great running back, and that's going to.
I think they've got Creekside.
I think it's Creekside. Yeah.
And those are two
Creekside
very
is
strong teams.
And you know what's in the mix? Possibly we may have a Cook County Fitzgerald state championship.
I don't think Cook will get past this week.
Who they got?
I'm not sure,
No.
but I've heard it that they're even Fitzgerald may not make it, but Brooks does Brooks have Calhoun? I think it's Calhoun.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. A lot of good games, and
Well,
so-
6A, real quick,
Okay.
Douglas and Woodward, then Central and Marist, and then in 7A, you've got Walton and Camden. Camden has been the
Yeah.
surprise of the year in 7A.
And they
And
came out of that Region 3.
Yep, and Milton and Grayson, who knocked out Buford last week.
That's right. It's going to be fun.
Yep,
Camden's the one that knocked off Mill Creek, who beat
Yes.
Buford to start with.
and beat them convincingly, too.
Yeah. So I know you have some connections there in Camden County. Good
Yeah.
to see them make a run. That's
Absolutely.
pretty cool. South Georgia football. I root
What
for them all.
connection? I was pulling for Camden, but now.
Okay. Well, never mind. You didn't hear
Oh,
what I
man.
said.
Former coach who's got multiple sclerosis.
Oh, man.
He's homebound and so forth, so you can give me a mulligan on that one.
I like Coach Herring.
I do, too. He's class act.
All right. Well, we're going to try to be a class act, but we're going to take a break, and then we'll talk a lot of college football. And welcome back to the Press Box. Let's talk college football. A lot of great games to talk about. The biggest game is going to be Georgia and Alabama squaring off for the SEC title game. We'll get to Alabama barely
We're
winning.
not going to talk about Texas and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, we can talk about that game if you want to talk about that. That's going to be the weirder game because Oklahoma State is the weirdest team in college
They got
football.
a weirdest coach in all of college football.
I like him. He's got the mullet, and he told his son that if he had the right grades, he'd cut his mullet. And his son didn't have good grades, so he left his mullet on. So, Coach
He's a
Van
grown
Gundy, I
man,
love
though.
it.
He's a grown man.
He's
There's a
40.
movement in the Big 12 to make Texas ineligible for this game because at the end of the game,
Yeah.
Texas has taken so much stuff over the SEC from Iowa State and then from Texas Tech last week, and at the end of the game, at Austin, the whole crowd was SEC,
goodness.
SEC. So they want them.
Yeah, they
Can't
want
be
them
in
out
a
of
Big
there.
12 championship game.
That's interesting. Well, let's talk Georgia. I think they don't have a great game against Tech. You win. I think you beat a rival. You're fine. Just keep winning. Now you play a Bama team that I think has some flaws you guys can exploit. But I think Bama may get out early. I'm jumping on you guys early.
Everybody does.
As is tradition. But you'd think the Dogs are going to keep their composure against this really good Bama team and just keep punching. I do. I think they win. I don't think Alabama has a good enough passing game to really just overall. They're going to get their scores, but they won't be able to keep scoring when it comes to the fourth quarter.
If you just rush 2, they got a good pass.
Yeah, look, we may talk about that. We may talk about
point.
the worst call in defensive play history. But Randy, what are your thoughts on this Georgia game?
And Michael will agree with me. It's going to be a typical Georgia game. I mean, Alabama will probably get a fast start. Georgia will settle in, and then it's going to be a slugfest. Bottom line. I do agree with you. I think Georgia has more offensive weapons to worry with. They'll have Bowers back. McConkey's supposed to play. They'll also have Ra Thomas back.
And Texas ran Alabama pretty good.
Well,
right?
and
I mean, that's comparable.
That was the other part I was going to say. Kendall Milton, Michael.
Yeah.
We are seeing what he could have
Yeah.
been if he'd been healthy. He's a heck of a player.
Well, Auburn kept that game close because they could run the football.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's encouraging. And Dylan Bell is very underestimated. Dylan is coming on strong as a all-around receiver, quarterback. He threw a touchdown pass.
Yep.
Running back. So
Yeah, you guys feel – how do you feel about this game? You feel pretty good about it? I think Georgia's going to win comfortably, kind of pulled away in the fourth quarter.
Kirby and I haven't really.
Yeah, have you talked with
We
them?
really haven't even looked at Alabama. We really don't know much about them until this week. We kind of peeked at them a little bit.
Yeah.
Understand, Kirby and I talked about they may have some kind of quarterback. I don't know. Kirby says, I don't know about this guy. We looked at him Sunday night for a minute or two. Looks like he's a good player. So they really haven't. They've been focused on one game at a time, and now it's Alabama. So now we're putting our sights on Alabama, and it looks like they got a pretty good program.
Yes,
so,
they do.
You and Kirby are putting something?
So,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we've talked. Understand, good coaching is big
Jim's
with
floating up
Alabama.
down there. I see it.
Understand that
This is a bad sign.
Georgia's going to lose?
Man,
we just understand there's some good coaching at
I'm trying not to
Alabama.
look.
We may have to give Jim a break
I'm
here.
trying not to look.
Water break for Jim.
Well, anyway, I think it's going to be a good game, but it's going to complicate things if Georgia doesn't win. I know that.
Now that could
That
be.
is
That's
true.
true.
That is for
I've never
true.
pulled for Georgia, but I'm pulling this week.
Oh,
And you
goodness.
too.
You got him all emotional.
Oh, man. The apocalypse is coming. He's rooting for Georgia.
This thing's ended
Cracking
with
him
a
a saying.
bang.
Oh my goodness! I am dying right here.
Oh, man. I
Y'all
don't
are
really
killing
know
me.
how to go on from this, guys.
I've been saving the best for last.
Yeah. So you think Georgia? I'm going to give you a little bit more time. I'm going to give you a little more time. Let's go on to FSU. FSU is playing Louisville for the ACC title game, and I guess against Florida with a new quarterback who I thought did a great job. But
He was very good.
yeah, very good, very efficient, very smart. I mean, they would throw. They had a lot of confidence in him. He would throw the ball like fourth and short. They would throw in key moments, but it was kind of conservative. I think it was kind of like don't get too far behind kind of game plan for FSU. Do you think they're going to do the same thing against Louisville, or are they going to have to just kind of start slinging the ball around? So, what do you think on that?
Louisville's a better defense than Florida. And Florida's offensive line is terrible. That doesn't look like an SEC team.
Yeah,
So,
they had lost a couple
I
of
mean,
guys.
Verse and them just whenever they really wanted to get after him, they got after him. So, it's going to be tough. Florida State's going to have to open the game up. They're going to have to let Tate throw the football.
Yeah, now
And get Coleman more involved in the game.
But
Yeah.
Tate can throw the football.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the
he
thing
can
now.
chuck it now.
He's got a great arm.
so I think also Louisville has had the best ACC schedule you could have. No regular season Florida State, no regular season Clemson, no regular season North Carolina. So, they're going to get punched in the mouth for the first time. But Florida State's got a lot of injuries. They got a lot of guys playing hurt. Keon Coleman doesn't look himself. Johnny Wilson doesn't look like himself. The center, Maurice Smith, just being a warrior, gutting it out. So
Even
think a lot of that.
Even Benson looked a little hurt.
Yeah, he did.
He got banged up on
Dinged
one
up.
of the touchdowns when he landed on his back.
Yeah. So to me, it's going to be one of the. It's going to look like the Florida game to me, where you just kind of hanging in, throw a punch when you can.
I've never pulled against FSU, but I'm a Cardinal this week.
Here we go. Man, what's going on here, Michael?
Man,
It's the end
There's,
as we know
there's
it.
only one route. There's only one route.
no, because that's your route for Texas or Ohio State.
Right.
He
there
wants
we go.
both of them, though.
He
He's
wants
already
I
both
would
said
like
now.
to get both of them.
Texas and Ohio State can get it
All
anyway.
right. Well, one thing that doesn't change, and that's yes, no.
The last yes,
The
no.
last yes, no. Again, we're going to have our Christmas wish at the end, but last yes, no. Let's just go through these pretty quick here. Randy, 2 men rushing Jalen Monroe at the end of the game is a fireable offense.
I would say yes.
Well, it's a way to lose a game,
Yes.
honestly. So yes.
So it was 2 men and a spy. I say yes.
Defensive coordinator would be gone.
That's the worst decision I've ever heard. All right, Michael, A&M's new coach, Mike Elko, will win an SEC title with the Aggies.
No.
No? Randy, no?
No.
I say yes. What do you say?
I say no. They're scared of Texas.
All right. Jim, oh man, here's a Michigan question for you.
Oh, I
Jim
don't-
Harbaugh should keep staying away on game day. Jim Harbaugh should keep staying away on game day. They played really well.
They do
Well,
better when he's not coaching.
Yeah. Okay, you say yes?
I say yes.
I say yes.
Yes.
I say no, but man, they have played really well.
They
So,
have.
all right, Randy, Austin will never let people forget the bogus, unnecessary roughness on Akeem Dent at the FSU Florida game.
He will never. That is
I will
yes.
never let people
He
forget.
will not let them forget.
I'm that level of petty.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you are petty.
Yes.
You're not
not
petty,
Rick.
but that's the truth.
There we go.
And not Richard Petty either.
That's right. That's right. All right, Michael. It was shocking to see the Auburn secondary freeze on the last play.
Oh my gosh. Here we go.
See, you petty. No.
No, it was not shocking.
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah,
it was shocking.
It
They
was
were
shocking.
lost.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it is hard to cover somebody for 15 minutes.
No, I get it.
You know, but
I get it.
10 seconds is an
it's
eternity.
Yes.
Anybody can get
Two
open.
receivers stopped and tied their shoes.
That's
Yeah.
it.
And
An
then got
order
back
pizza.
in.
Got
Yeah.
some Gatorade.
Yeah.
All right, last one.
Wait, Jim's got to
Oh,
say.
he said.
I
Oh, he
said
said,
something.
"Yo, guys,
I said
yes."
something. I still haven't got over Michael being so confident about Georgia. 1 week I'm gonna pull for him.
Yes. Well, we'll know whose fault it is.
That's
if,
right.
Georgia loses. All right. So last one. If you were watching the Florida State game, a Florida player got ejected for spitting on a Florida State player. So. Florida's fourth quarter offense was more disrespected than the FSU player that got spit on. What do you say, Michael?
That's pretty low.
That's pretty bad.
They had 0 yards in the fourth quarter. By the way.
Yes.
All right, you say yes.
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 Boy, you're
That
petty.
turned the game.
No, it really did.
He's being
It
petty,
really
man.
did.
Being petty again.
Yeah, that's my job, man. I get paid to be
Is that
petty.
guy
This
that
is awesome.
got ejected? Is he coming back next year?
I don't know. He's a
If he
pretty
does,
good player.
if he does come back, they got 2 players. They opened with Miami. That 2 players
Gotta
can't
sit
play
out.
the first half.
That's
right.
true.
He's got him an NIL deal, though, from Redman. Quarterback.
Oh, all right.
Rumor.
All right, so last one, your Christmas wish. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. We're going to miss you guys and enjoyed the show this year. But Randy Young, what's your Christmas wish?
State championship for the Yellow Jackets. It's time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Michael Best.
That me and Jim can live in harmony as 2 graduates of Thomasville High School and continue to be as close as we've been through the years, and that loving relationship will continue.
The staying as close as you've been part, I think, is possible.
That's
The
possible.
other parts of it, I think, were just pretty well done.
Santa can do a lot. But
There's
I'm
a lot
worried
of
on
more reasons that he's going to get double excommunicated.
How do you get double X?
You keep going, you're going to find out.
this. Yeah.
Mine is Georgia wins.
Yeah, he's got a lot. You're
Right,
lying.
go
Georgia
Dogs.
wins.
Georgia wins.
Florida State loses.
Florida State loses.
Texas wins.
Texas wins. And
And then,
Ohio State and Texas get in.
all right. There you
I
go.
wish there was a way to get FSU in there too, but they can't.
They're the sacrificial lamb
You
here.
gotta
Got to stick
sacrifice-
Michigan in there somewhere.
I know.
You got to sacrifice somebody somewhere. Along with Michael, I'll sacrifice him.
All right. Well,
Oh, man.
I wish y'all have as much fun as I do doing
This
this.
is fun. This is fun.
You guys
See
are
y'all
great.
next
Appreciate
year.
y'all.